All right, thanks, Joe, for taking the time to talk to us.
My pleasure.
Just to
My
let you
pleasure.
know,
We're all in this together.
that's it. We've got a referee camp coming up. We have about 350 referees in our local association. We expect that we'll probably get about 80 of those referees to come to a camp over 3 days, where they get to learn a lot of refereeing techniques and talk about situations that happen in games and so forth. So we're hoping that we could use some of the stuff that you talked to us about today to show and share with the guys.
Sure, anything.
We thought we'd just start off and ask you a few questions about how you started refereeing. When did you first start refereeing?
I started working when I was 18.
Yeah.
I was 18 years old, but I came from an officiating background. My father was a baseball umpire.
Okay.
And I was interested in officiating as a kid.
Yeah.
So when I watched games all the time, I just watched refs.
Yeah.
I was just infatuated with refereeing ever since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I had to jump on everybody because most people don't want to pick up officiating until later, you know. It's gotten better now because of the internet and the interest, and guys are starting younger, which is really important, in my opinion, to start as young as you possibly can. But that's what happened to me. I started working when I was 18, but my goal from the day I started reffing was to be in the NBA.
How long did it take you to get to the NBA?
It took me 7 years. I got to the NBA when I was 25.
Yeah.
So I was really lucky. I'm 64 now, so this will be my 39th year.
39 years.
Yeah. I've been really lucky. You know, I've had a nice lucky run. You know, staying healthy and is the big part of it. But that's really what happened. I started working and there was an old league. I was doing all the basketball all over. I live in the Philadelphia area, which is probably about 90 miles from New York.
Yeah.
And back when I was starting refereeing, there were leagues all over the place, so you could work all the time, and you could get better, you know. And luckily, the guys in the Philadelphia area took a liking to me, and they taught me.
Yeah.
They taught me how to ref, but it was, you know, I went everywhere to ref. I just wanted to get better and better and better. Then there was a league. It was now it's the D League, the minor leagues of the NBA.
Yeah.
But when I was doing it, it was a weekend league, and they played Saturdays and Sundays. It was called the old Eastern League.
Yeah.
And they played in right up where I was lucky. They played on the East Coast. And
Hi.
Hello. That's my wife.
Hi. How you doing?
So what happened is I worked in the old Eastern Pro League, and you didn't do it for the money. You only got $40, and there was no expenses.
Yeah.
So but it was the only place that had pro rules where you could work under NBA rules.
Sure.
So I did that for 4 years, at the same time refereeing all over the Philly area trying to get better.
Yeah.
And that's the key. I think the key is to try to work as many games as you possibly can to get better. But it also, I think, is important that you have mentors that can teach you. You know?
So how many games have you actually done in the NBA?
Excuse me?
How many games have you done in the NBA in the 39 years?
Counting playoffs and exhibitions and all that stuff, I'm probably honing in on 3,000.
3,000. Right.
Yeah, Dick Pavetta has more games. I think he's got like 70-some more games than me regular season. And then I think I have the most playoff games and the most finals games.
Okay.
Is that a goal of yours?
I've been one of those lucky guys.
Is that a goal of yours to beat Dick's record?
Excuse me?
Is that a goal of yours to break Dick's record of games?
You know, that's a great question. I wouldn't mind breaking it. To be honest with you, now whether I stay around and work next year, I would have to probably work another year to break Dick's record.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to go 40 years. Nobody's ever gone 40. Dick worked 39. This is going to be my 39th.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm going to work 40 or not. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm taking it a year at a time now.
Yeah,
to
sure.
see what happens.
So in those 39 years, who are some of the best players that you've refereed?
Well, I've refereed them all. I mean, I've refereed Kareem, I've refereed Bird, Magic, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Hakeem Olajuwon. I've reffed them all. I mean, it's just been such a fabulous, fabulous career. I mean, even your guys, Luke Longley and all those guys.
Yeah.
I've refereed. I've been so lucky to be involved in the NBA. I've just been a lucky guy. I've refereed all those guys. I've just been really, really lucky.
Yeah. So what techniques do you use on the court to build relationships with some of those guys?
I think we're really lucky in the NBA that we have a lot of training. I had a difficult time in my earlier years with my temper. I was a very aggressive guy. And as the years have gone on, I've gotten better, but that's all because of training.
Yeah.
You can't do today what you did 39 years ago. And the players are different too. It's just a whole different. I wouldn't say it's a different game. It's just a different atmosphere. There's all kinds of cameras all over the place, microphones. So you used to be able to say a lot of different stuff to players 39 years ago that you can't do today. But I've learned I think maturity, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
When I first came in, I was 25 years old, and I was a brash kid, thought I knew everything and didn't, and thought I did, but I didn't. And the guys, that I reffed with, I was very lucky. I was very, very lucky that the guys that I came in with that broke me in liked me.
Yeah.
And they taught me. Because I'd walk in the locker room some nights and I had no idea why I caused a riot. I had no idea. And these guys would take me aside and say, Joe, this is what happened. This is what you did. And you go, oh, okay. And then you tried to build on it night in and night out. And it was hard in the beginning because nobody believes what you do in the NBA. Your first few years, nobody believes a thing that you do, and you really have to. It's hard. It's hard in the beginning.
Okay.
Throughout your career, who's been the referee that's had the greatest impact on you that you've enjoyed working with?
Great question. The greatest referee that I ever worked with was Steve Jaffee.
Yeah.
Steve Jaffee was the greatest referee that I ever worked with. The guy that broke me in and taught me the most was a guy by the name of Joe Guscio, who's since passed away. But he was a fabulous teacher. He taught, back in those days, you didn't have tape.
Yeah.
You didn't have tape. Now you have tape, so you can, we watch so much tape. I mean, we watch tape in the day of the game. After the game, we watch tape. I mean, I give clinics all the time, and it's tape. I have plays and plays and plays of different stuff, and it's fabulous, fabulous. But Steve Jaffee, in my opinion, was the greatest referee that I ever worked with, and I've worked with every guy in since 1977 was my first year. But Jaffee, to me, it's three things. It's your rule knowledge, it's your judgment, and it's your mannerisms on the court. And Steve Jaffee had all three of them. He just his rule knowledge was off the charts, his judgment was terrific, and his mannerisms on the court, he made everybody on the court at ease.
Yeah.
Most referees don't have all three of those things. I know I don't. I work hard with the rules. My judgment is halfway decent. But my manner sometimes on the court, I can be abrasive. Do you know what I mean? I get crazy. Where Javi was very, very calm. He's just a fabulous referee, fabulous. But he blew out both of his knees.
Okay.
Is he still involved in the NBA
Yes,
referee?
he is. He does some work with the NBA, but he also does some TV work.
Yeah.
Where our games are on TV,
Yeah.
and then say there's a rule problem or something like that. Steve is the guy that the TV people bring in.
I've seen him during the NBA Finals coverage out here in Australia.
Yes, Steve is fabulous. I mean, really, really, really a knowledgeable man.
So you said you sometimes get a bit excited. Can you talk to us a bit about the blocking doing this? We love that.
That call, most of the time when I do stuff like that, to be honest with you, I mess the call up. Because I'm trying to sell the call. And what happened on that particular play, where it's been all over the world, that play, I missed the play. It should have been an offensive foul, and I screwed the play up, and I called a block, and I'm trying to sell the play.
Yeah.
And I got my employer really hammered me too, because they said, Joe, we don't want you doing that stuff and my boss was right. I shouldn't have done it, but I did it, but I screwed the play up. It should have been an offensive foul. I called a block, but that's what happens. I mean, I when I do stuff like that, I just love our profession. I love the profession. I love the game, and sometimes I get a little carried away.
We love it. Keep doing it.
Thank you.
So do you get an evaluator at your games, or do you watch your own games?
Oh my God, we have our evaluation system is off the charts now. I mean, we have so much scrutiny. It's good and bad. When sometimes you can get a little. I feel bad for our younger guys. Guys like me that have been around a long time. You can let it, just go right off your back. But sometimes the scrutiny of what we do is off the charts. We have somebody at the game. We have somebody sending you plays. We have computer printouts of our calls. They have every stat that you can imagine. They have where you called a play from, who you called the play on. And that's because there has to be some kinds of checks and balances. Like I said, there's some good. I like it, to be honest with you. I want that kind of feedback, because it makes me want to be better. It wants me to try to get 100% of the calls right. I never do. In fact, I've never had a perfect quarter.
Yeah.
But it makes you better. It really does. I try to explain that to the younger refs. You want that kind of scrutiny. You really do, because you want to be the best. And in the NBA, we want to be the best. We think we have the best players. We think we have the best coaches, and we want to be the best refs. So I like the scrutiny. I really do. I like it. But our stuff and I want to use the proper word, our feedback from management and the feedback that we get with one another can sometimes be crazier than what we get from management, because we can get in the locker room, because when you do this for a living, which we do, it can get a little heated in that locker room. If something happens on the floor, you're doing it for a living now. But we all get along. We all try to get the plays correct, and that's what this is about. This is about getting the plays right. That's what it's about. It's not about me jumping up like a nitwit calling a block. You know what I mean? I want to get the plays right. That's the whole key to this.
So when you're on the court and on the floor with your fellow crew members, do you guys come together during timeouts? And if so, what type of discussion are you having? Great question.
Yeah, we do come together. There's a system that we work. When we go to camp on Sunday, that'll start. It'll start. We'll have tape oh my God, 8, 9, 10 hours a day of just watching plays. And then we watch our mechanics, and then we watch what we're doing on the floor as a trail, as the slot, which I think you guys refer to as the center, and the lead. And we go over that. And during a timeout, you may come together and say, hey, I'm rotating too quick here at the lead. I got to slow down here, or I'm too high at the slot, or I got to get to the sideline at the trail. We're always talking to one another. We don't think that's a bad thing. In the old days when I first came in, and when there was 2 referees, and you never talked about that kind of stuff. Because if you start talking about you telling me what to do, that guy, don't be telling me what to do. That's the way it used to be perceived. But in this day and age, we're trying to get on the same page. We don't believe that it's a bad thing. We believe that it's a good thing to be talking at a timeout. Hey, a guy could be in the league 4 or 5 years, and he'll say to me, which I think is great, he'll say, Joe, you're rotating too quick at the lead. And I go, okay, no problem. Because you want to be on the same page. Yeah. If I said that to a guy in my 5th year who was in the league 25 years, he might go, shut your face. Tell me to shut up. But today it's great because everybody, like I said, we want to get the plays right. Yeah, that's the key. And there's a system that we work. And if you work the system, I think you'll get most of the plays right. I really do.
Beautiful. We just got a couple of final questions for you.
Sure.
When someone's giving you a hard time, what are some of your favourite one-liners?
Like I said, in the old days when there wasn't tape, you could be aggressive. You could say to a player, you don't know what you're talking about. I got the play right. But I'll tell you, now with tape, it proves us wrong a lot of times. So what you do is you always say, this is my stock answer now. I said, I'll look at the tape. You could be right. Yeah. That's exactly what because really in reality, what I've learned and what has really helped me, it really has, is that the coaches and players are sometimes, they are correct.
Yeah.
And it's really helped me. It really has. Back in the old days when I was a stubborn guy and they didn't have tape, nobody was going to tell me that I was wrong.
Yeah.
But now, I take a different approach. I mean, sometimes do I get still excited and still say something that I shouldn't say? Yes, I do. But I'm not proud of those moments because they're really, in reality, it doesn't help the game. And that's what you're out there. I mean, you're out there you're trying to get through the game with your 2 partners.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get the plays right, and you're trying not to offend anybody. So what happens is if you say something stupid to somebody, you're offending them, you're offending their coach, and your partners may become involved in it. So really, in reality, what have you accomplished? Really, what have you accomplished? So what I've tried to do is just stay as low-key as I possibly can with my comments. Yeah. I very rarely even say anything to players and coaches unless they say something to me. I try to use that as a gauge. In some cases, I very rarely even say hello to anybody anymore because there's so much. The games mean so much. People they're wrapped up in what they're trying to accomplish as players and coaches. So when a player speaks to me, I speak to the player. When the coach speaks to me, I speak to the coach. I've really changed. I just don't think referees should initiate conversation on the floor because the players and coaches are trying to win.
Yeah.
They're trying to win. And I think sometimes referees want the guys to like them, and they start initiating conversation. Shut up! That's the game. They don't want to have conversation with you. They want you to ref. They want you to get the plays right.
Yeah.
So when they initiate conversation with you, hey, how are you? How you doing? Then you're professional. Then you're a professional guy. But I think sometimes we as referees want to be liked And the players and coaches, they don't want to like you. They just want you to do your job. They just do the job. That's my approach.
No worries. And just the final question: what advice would you have for some of the guys that will be at our camp who are just starting off their refereeing careers and have got aspirations to take their refereeing, probably not to the NBA, but as far as they can get?
No, we're all in this together. Like I said, I believe that when you're a referee and you're getting money to do something, you do it to the best of your ability. So the key is exactly what they're doing, coming to that clinic and trying to learn.
Yeah.
Trying to learn. That's all of us every night. I mean, after 39 years, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I mean, I go down, what is it today? It's like 9 a.m. at our time. Well, after we're done talking, I'll be down in my downstairs looking at rules because we have a rules test when we go to camp that I want to get 100 in.
Yeah.
So you have to constantly want to be improving as a ref. And I think sometimes, we pass that test to become that ref, and then we say we're a ref. But really, in reality, it's just starting.
Yeah, sure.
It's really just starting. And I think if I have any advice for anybody that's refereeing is just to keep learning, and you don't know everything. You learn night in and night out, and also in concert with your partners. Stay in concert with your partners. Trust the people that you work with. Okay. That's it. That's the only advice, and just keep on working, keep on trucking.
Beautiful. Well, thanks very much. All the guys who we're going to show this to will really appreciate it. So thanks, Joe, for taking the time, and say thanks to your wife as well for popping by.
No problem. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks, Joe. Cheers.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
See you.